Hi, I'm going to show you how to design the Titan's first project on the mill, so Titan1. And so I'm going to have you open up a new part. So you can either double click it or click it once and click OK to open up a new part. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're in IPS, inch pound second. So make sure that you're in that, and you can select that. And then we're going to click on this top plane, and there's a little menu here that you can click on to open a sketch, or you could go into sketch and hit sketch. So make sure you have the top plane selected, then open a sketch. So now it should say exit sketch to say that you're in a sketch on the top plane. And if we look at the drawing here, for the first one, it just shows the stock dimensions, and we're going to have our x0, y0 up in this corner. And so if we go back to SolidWorks, we get the rectangle tool. We're going to click and drag our stock from the origin to the bottom right, and get your Smart Dimension tool. And you'll notice you have two black lines and two blue lines. We want all black geometry. So if you click on the top line and type in 4, and if you click on the left line and click and type 1.9, you've got black geometry. F on your keyboard fits it to the screen. You can also look at this in a trimetric view like this. And when you go to features and you click on extrude boss base, you'll get to this where you can bring it up or down. We're going to go down in this direction. If you have it up in this way and you put in 0.75 for the thickness, you can just reverse it to bring it down below the plane. So we hit the green check mark, and now we have our first solid feature. So we should save the part. So this one here, we'll call it, I'm putting mine in my Mastercam thing, but you should go into your Z drive on your left-hand side. You'll scroll down, you'll see your user folder. And I'll make a new folder called Titan Project. And inside that, I'm going to save my file name inside that as Titan1M. So now I've got my part saved. So the next thing I'm going to do is click on the face. I'm actually going to do the holes next, and save all the chamfering for last. So I click on it. You can click on the sketch here in this pop-up. Do that, or you could go ahead and go over to the sketch one and actually show you just a different way you might want to go about this. Would be to use the hole wizard. So I can show you both ways, but I'll go ahead and first show you this way. So we're going to go ahead and create some holes. So we're going to click on sketch, or like I said, you could click here and click sketch. Either way gets you into the sketch. And then if you want to look straight on the part, you can click on this right here and go to normal to. So now you're looking right on the part. And if you go to the circle tool, you can draw some circles and kind of sketch where they are. It doesn't really matter at this point. You just want to kind of do it quickly. So then escape out of the circle tool. So I just have some sketches here. If you look at this right here, you can see how he does his dimensioning is all from this corner. So the first circle is 0.15 from the top of the part down to the center, and 0.15 from the left of the part to the center. So we can go ahead and go back into SolidWorks and get our Smart Dimension tool, and we can click on these. So we go 0.15 and hit enter, then get the orange dot, And then if you went to the left side, then the next time you want to go up to the top line and then bring it off to the side. So you got 0.15. Now, the reason why this isn't black geometry yet is we need to give it a diameter. So we need to know what is the diameter of the holes. So we'd want to look at the print again for this information, or possibly the cut setup sheet. So I'll just tell you that the diameter, if we click on this and bring an arrow over here, the diameter is 0.177. All right, so that is only showing 0.18 because the tolerances are set to 0.12 for the precision. So if you click on this and you put 0.123, you'll see your diameter shows up correctly. So we can hit a green check mark there, and then we can take and center this up, or you could bring this off to one side or the other. If you want to do it like that, you can do it like that. All right, so we have one black circle. We're going to use some relations to make all of these circles the exact same size, so we only have to have one dimension. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of my smart dimension tool, and I've just got my pick tool, and I'm going to click on that circle and hold my control key down and click on all the other circles. So they're all going to show up in here, the arcs 1 through 6. And then over here, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to say they're all equal. So now you can see that they all change to equal. Also going to tell it a couple other things to kind of restrict these things. So you can turn on your relations if they aren't already on, but you can see that the little symbol now says that they're all equal. All right, so I'm going to turn that off for a moment so it's easier to see. And I'm going to say this center point, and I hold my control key down, and this center point are vertical. They're vertical from each other, so that moved this in line with this one. I'm going to say that this one and this one are horizontal to each other, so they now move together. And I'm going to say this one and this one are horizontal. So now that's in line with that one. Okay. This one and this one are vertical. I'm missing a hole down here, right? So I got to put another hole down in here somewhere. And then I need to say that this one and this one are equal. And we probably can't give it any more relations at this point. Now we just need to start dimensioning. So if we go back to here, you can see where you can find all the dimensions. And these all can be found on Titan's CNC website, or I can print them off for you to have in class. So if we go back to SolidWorks, we'll start smart dimensioning. We'll go from the left side to the center point, the orange point, and this one will go just above that other dimension. And on the print, that one says 1.15. So we'd still have blue geometry because we don't have a distance down from the top. So we need to go from the top edge to the center point and bring this out past the other dimension and say that that is 0.3. So now we have black geometry. So then from this edge here of the part to the center, bring that up above the last one, and we say that that one is 2.85. And then from this edge to the center of this part, or this hole, excuse me, bring that above that, and we're going to say that's 3.85. So now we have black geometry on these top 4 holes. This one is going to need 2 dimensions because we don't have it constrained anything, so we're going to have to go from this point, or that line to the center point, and let's bring this one down below the part and say that's exactly centered 2 inches. And then from the center point to the top of the line is 1.216. Now remember, we don't have 3 decimal places showing, but we can change that over here to 123, and then we'll have our 3 decimal places. So we've got black geometry on that one. So we go from the top line to the center point here, bring it all the way out, 1.75. And this one did not move with this one, so we can give it a relation to say this is horizontal to this one. So escape out of your smart dimension and click on the center point, hold the control key down, click on the other center point, and say make horizontal. And now you've got black geometry on all your circles. All right, so if we exit the sketch, because we have black geometry, and we go to a trimetric view, we could go ahead and make sure that this sketch is highlighted in blue and go to features and extrude cut. They want to know how deep we're going to drill those holes. So he's going, Titan Gilroy is going 380 deep with the tapped hole. And if you watch his video, he adds 200 thousandths to that, so he goes down 0.580. So if we go back to here and we say blind, and we go 0.580, the holes are going to go that deep. Hit the green check mark. So now we have holes, and there's several other operations that happen to these holes. There's a countersink, and there's so there's spot drilling, there's drilling, and then there's tapping. And you can actually use the hole wizard in SolidWorks to go ahead and do all of those things. So if I were to hide this, not that, sorry, that was not what I meant to do. See if I can just hide those. Oh, it hides everything. I don't want to hide the whole thing. All right, let's just suppress it. So pretend like that didn't happen. Okay, so now we have that feature suppressed. If you go to the hole wizard and you click on the hole wizard, and you can click on this face here when we're done, but we're going to go to a straight tapped hole. And if you get this message here, you can just say reset the custom sizing values. I don't know if you'll get that message or not. But inside here, if you go to a straight tapped hole and you click on that, and you're an inch, and you call this a tapped hole, if you grab the 1032 out of this thing here, and then if you look at the drill we were using was 0.177 off of Titan setup sheet, so that's the drill that we're using. And then in the blind condition, this would be how deep the hole is going to go. So we said we were going to go 0.580, and we've got a thread that is going to be 0.38, but we've got a lead on our tap, so Titan goes 0.480, so 100 thousandths less than the hole. And then in here on the print, he wants a 0.205 countersink with a 45 degree. So we can put in all that information in here on the hole type tab. And then the positions is to select this face, and we can go back to normal view. And now when you select that face, you can go ahead and put these holes, I'm just clicking to place the holes. And then you can smart dimension all these holes with the smart dimension tool. And you do this the same way we just did. So we're going to start by going 0.15 from the corner. 0.15. Oh, that wants to make that one driven. So I'm going to cancel that. So I got to go from here to here. I made a mistake there and did the other one, 0.15. And then that hole has got a black point on it, whereas all these other holes are blue. So remember, we can still add relations like we did before. So if I hit escape to get out of that, I can say this and hold my control key down in this point are vertical aligned. I can say this point and this point are horizontal. So now I've got a horizontal there. I can say this point and this point are vertical. And this point and this point are horizontal. So those kind of do the corner ones. Then you got this point and this point that are horizontal. And at this point, I would start smart dimensioning and see if you get black geometry. And if you don't, we can add some more relations. So smart dimension tool, we'll just do like we did before. Come off the center point, off the left side of the part. Come up a 1.15 according to the drawing. And then the next one goes from the line over, we'll go above that part, and we'll say that that one is 2.85. And then from this line to the far edge is 3.85. So we've got black geometry just on these two. So we need to go from this top line to the center point, bring that out. It's 0.3. We need a line from top to the center point of this one, and it's 1.216. Again, we can change that to 123. I'm just going to move these down just a little bit so that they aren't so high up there. All right, so this is all black now. We can go from the top line to the center point and do 1.75. And we've got black geometry on all of our points. We hit our green check mark and we hit our green check mark to for the whole wizard. And now you look at this in trimetric, you can see we've got a threaded hole, and you actually can show those threads, but we won't get into that today. So that's how I would do it, because you've got your countersink and your tapped hole and your drilled hole all in one feature. You can go ahead and do it how either way will work, but then if you do it this way, you're going to have to countersink that tapped hole. So if you haven't saved for a while, you should probably do a file save and make sure that you have it saved. The next thing that you're probably going to want to do is to go ahead and build this offset feature here. That's going to be a cut, and then also you've got this part down here that gets cut as well. All right, so this is, look at the distance here is 0.3, and this is a cutting plane line. So this is if you were to cut this part at this point, which looks about the halfway point, and look at this end of the piece, this is what you would see. So this hash marked is solid material, and these are just lines that are coming off of these fillets and rounds that you're seeing there. So the depth of this is going to be, the cut is going to be at 0.5. So if you go back to SolidWorks and you click on this top face and open up a sketch, and then go back to your normal 2 view, the first thing I would do is convert that outside edge. So if the face is highlighted in blue like this and you say convert entities, it automatically copies this outside. You can offset those entities then by clicking offset entities, clicking on the black line, typing in the 0.3, and notice it's going the wrong way, so you would reverse that. So then hit the green check mark and you've got these offset perfectly. Looking at the detail here, we've got a circle up in here and a circle center point right here. This is, just think of it like a circle. It's a fillet, but we've got some 45-degree lines, and we've got this circle that's 1.65 down from the top of the part and centered at 2 inches. So we want to draw this in, draw some tangent lines at a 45, and then we've got a bunch of radiuses that are 0.195 times 13. So if you were to count these, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then these are different. This is a 1 time, so this was a 0.188, and this one here is a 0.195. And these two are 0.313. So we can go ahead and draw some arcs off of those center points and show you how to do that. So 0.313, let's do these two to start with. So we come back into here, center point arc, we click on the center point, we come over to this orange line, and then we swing back over to the orange line. There's one. Do the same to this side, come over. This one here, you can see where it went the wrong way, so just sweep it all the way around, and you got it like that. If you hit escape and you say, if you click on it and control, say that they're equal to each other, and then you smart dimension this. Sorry, I gotta hit escape once. Get the smart dimension tool, click on it. I think I'll put it on the inside here. 0.313 was the size of that. We'll trim out some stuff later. Let's do another arc, or maybe we'll just do it differently this time. Let's draw a circle center point. So we're going to just draw underneath here, we're just going to sketch a circle. And for right now, we are going to start by calling it the diameter, which if you looked at that drawing, it was 0.195. So you could do 0.195 times 2. And I was going to see it. We don't really want it to show up as a diameter. We really want to show it out as a radius. So I'm going to click, I right-clicked on it. I went display options, display as a radius. And then we want to go 0.123. So it switched it back when I did that. So let me display it now as a radius. So this is really going to be a radius because we're going to cut out the bottom. So that's why I would like it to be a radius. So either way for you guys at this point in your designing is fine. But for me, I like to keep radiuses if they don't make complete circles. So smart dimension, we grab the center point to the outside edge. We say that it's 2. And kind of confused why it's not lining up with this one here, so we might want to check that out. And then we want to say from the top line down to the center point is a distance of 1.65. Okay. So I've got an issue with this hole not being in the right spot. So I'm gonna take a second and fix that, because I'm pretty sure I've got this in the right spot, but then this should not, this should be lined up with it. So if I exit my sketch, I'm gonna go back into here, I'm gonna click on it once and go to edit feature, and I'm gonna go to positions, and I see that I forgot I have blue geometry on this, so that means that I can move that around. So I'm gonna smart dimension that from this line to the center point here, and bring that down and say that that's 2 inches, and hit the green check mark and the green check mark. So now this looks correct. So to get back in my sketch, I click on my sketch and then I go into edit sketch, and now I've got that correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw a line from this bottom line somewhere in here. So I click on it when it's orange, and I'm looking to get the symbol like you see right there where it's got the 2 symbols together. One means it's coincident with the arc and the other means it's tangent. Okay, so if you turn on your relations underneath your eye here and you go to view this, you want to see this symbol and this symbol. And if you don't have them, I'll do the other side so I don't have that, and then I'll show you how to get that. So I just accidentally drew a line, so I'm going to hit escape and hit undo. So now I've got this one line, so I'm going to go back and draw another line. And I'm going to go from the bottom of the part, and I'm just going to go to there on purpose. So right here, I don't have these 2 entities tangent like I am here. So I've got a tangency between this line and this. So what I want to do is I want to click on the line, hold the control key down and click on here, and then click on make tangent. Okay, so then now look what happened. That was bad, right? So let me just undo and undo again and come back and hit my line. And this time when I do this, I'm going to make sure I come up higher than that midpoint at the bottom. So that's probably good that that happened. So I still don't have tangency on these 2 things. So I'm going to hit escape to get out any commands, click on the arc, control, click on the line, and then click on tangent. So now I have tangency on both. So what I want to do is I want to get my trim entities, and I want to trim out the bottom of this circle, and even, well, I don't want to trim out the bottom down here. I just want to trim out this part. So what if you're on power trim, you come into this area here, zoom in with your mouse wheel, so you can kind of, wherever your mouse is, it's going to zoom in or out from. So get right on top of where you want to zoom in, and then hold your left mouse button down and see the line that's drawn. As I keep moving forward, it slices through. So now I sliced the bottom half of the circle, but I still got to come up here and click and slice this and this. You can just keep holding it down and just trim all of this stuff away so that you're left with just this. Okay, we have more work to do. We have to get some black geometry here. We need to get an offset 0.3 line to do this top part. So start with one thing at a time. Let's get the angle here. So let's smart dimension here to here, and that's 45. And we can do the same to the other side. So you click the 2 lines. And now we've got black geometry here. So we're good there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit escape to get out of that. We're going to go to offset entities. We're going to click on these 2 things. Notice it's going the wrong way, so we're going to reverse it. Here's our 0.3. Now I really don't want this arc part, so I'm going to take the chain off and just select the 2 lines, and I'll reverse. Ooh, I don't know if I can do that. Let me undo for a second here. If I do this and then hit the control and select both of these and say offset, yeah, it looks like it wants to do one the one way and then the other way. So I'm going to undo that. There's more than one way to do this, right? So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just sketch a line. We probably could get about this a different way, but we're going to sketch a line and we're going to go and make it look like this. All right, so it gave me a perpendicular part, which I'm fine with for now. But I want to make this, I want to click on this and hit Control and click on this and make it parallel. And then these two should automatically be parallel, but if I do it, I can try it and just do the same thing on this side. It may see the yellow is mad because it doesn't like this perpendicular thing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that to get rid of the perpendicular because it doesn't like that. It wasn't necessary, so I just got rid of it. And I want to smart dimension from this line to this line is 0.3. And the same thing from here to here is 0.3. Okay, so if you want to, you can bring these down off your part. That helps you. All right, so we need a fillet in here. So if we go to the fillet command, we can go from here to here, and we can change this to 0.188. And if you click on this, after you get out of the fillet command, if you click on that, shoot, sorry, click on it. Got to just click on the arrow, I guess. Thought we could make it so that it shows the 1, 2, 3. All right, so we got black geometry. Now we just basically are going to go around and add our fillets to all of the corners that get the 0.195. So then we have a little bit more trimming to do, and we'll just do that at the end if we need to. All right, so going back to the fillets, we're going to change this to 0.195. It says that we need 13 of them. So here's the entities to fillet. You can just click on any spot that there's a point like that, or you can click on the line and then the other line, and you can do it that way. So the segment being filleted has a midpoint or equal length or equal distance relationship will be deleted, and the geometry might move if the fillet is created. Do you want to continue? I'm going to say yes to try it and see. So see if that matters here. So it says that there's a thing, so I'm just going to exit out of that. Let's do a little trimming before we get going. So if we trim, we've got this going on. Let's see if we trim, if that helps eliminate this. So we go back to power trim. Let's slice this out. So we got rid of that. Zoom in here. Let's slice this off. Come down here. We want to slice this a little bit off. And this we want to keep, and we want to slice through here. I think that's all the trimming we really need to do. Let's go back and try the fillet. We can always, if we don't like the fillets this way, we can always add the fillets in a different way as a feature. So let's go ahead and exit out of the trim command, go back in the fillet command, and let's see what happens if we, yeah, so we're still going to get this message. So let's try it a different way. So let's go ahead and now we got black geometry. It's a little bit messy, you know, as far as the dimensions go. So if you were in my pre-engineering class, I would be asking you to kind of clean up these dimensions because you can't hardly read some of them. But for right now, for the sake of time, we're just going to go ahead and go to features. Got to get out of the fillet, and we're going to extrude cut. And then we'll look at this trimetric, and we're going to go down 0.5. And we're going to select contours in this case. We're going to select this contour. So we click in this box, and then we're going to come over and we're going to select this contour and hit the green check mark. So now you've got those two contours machined down to the same depth. So here's where I was thinking we could go ahead and put in our fillets. So what I'd like you to do is on the Features tab, find the fillet, and down in the radius here, put in 0.195, and then make sure that you've got a full preview. And then in the items to fillet, what you want to do is click on, you want to try to get in here on these and click just the vertical edges, and you'll see the fillet being formed there. So you want to keep moving your model around, and how I'm doing that is I'm using my mouse wheel to wheel in and out, and I'm going to push my mouse wheel down and into my mouse and then move my mouse to rotate. And I'm going to keep grabbing all of these. And if you make a mistake, oops, like I click on that, you can come over here and say right click, delete. If you clear selections, it'll clear them all. So if you make a mistake, just go ahead and do that. You can also turn this into a wireframe view if you think that helps, like this, or you can show your hidden lines visible. And then the last option is this one here, which is just a wireframe. So I personally like to do it in the shaded with edges, just rotate my model around. So and you can sometimes get at them, like right there, that's that inside corner. There's another inside corner. So you can kind of get them. There's that inside corner. So you can kind of do it like that too. So let's just count them once and see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this was 13. So we found them all. So we've got 12 selected here. We hit the green check mark, and now we've got our fillets. The last thing that it says on the first one is to break all edges to a 0.01 chamfer. So if we go to this fillet and underneath we go to chamfer, if we put in this distance here of 0.01 and then a full preview, we could select this whole face because it's going to chamfer both sides all the way around. Okay, we could select just this edge right here, and then we could select the corners. Now, the corners would have to be done ahead of time, but I'm not sure if we want the corners, because are we going to really machine the fillets on the corners? Probably not. But they did show in the video machining this one here and all these around the outside and inside of the part. So it's up to you if you want to fillet your corners or not all the way around. You can always touch them on a grinder or something, or a file. So if you hit the green check mark, we'd have all the fillets done. So make sure you do a file, save your part. I usually, when I save it, I usually go to a trimetric view and hit F to fit it to my screen, or zoom in just a little bit and do a file save. And that's it for this lesson. The next one would be to actually be bringing it into Mastercam and applying the toolpaths. So good luck and happy designing.